Today, I want to consider Psalm 46. Verse 10, most people know. Verse 10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." And most people are really familiar with that. But lots of times when I ask people, they can't remember the context. The context is this, verse 1, "God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in times of trouble. Therefore, we will not fear." Interesting, because the context is a time of trouble. It's a time when people are naturally going to feel lots of fear. But the psalmist, rather than acting impulsively on his fear, rather than making a valley decision in the midst of his fear, which valley decisions are always bad decisions, the psalmist decides he's going to do the opposite of his reflex reaction to fear. He's going to slow it down. Be still and know that I am God. He slows everything down. He gets really still. And he pauses with the knowledge that God is still on his throne and Jesus isn't nervous. It steadies and strengthens his inner being so that he can be still on the outside in the midst of chaos. We have to cultivate an inner stillness before we can have an outer calm in the midst of times of trouble. Psalm 62 verse 1 is one of my favorite verses. The psalmist says, "For God alone my soul waits in silence. From him comes my salvation." Listen, I think sometimes you have done everything you can do in a current crisis. You have said everything you can say, and to continue to focus on the crisis, continue to watch news, continue to talk about it, all it does is generate more anxiety. Sometimes you've done everything you can do, you've said everything you can say, and all that's left to do is to wait upon the Lord. When you've done everything you can do, said everything you can say, and prayed everything you can pray, all that's left to do is wait upon the Lord in silence. We wait for God to deliver us. The psalmist isn't encouraging a passivity of faith. The psalmist is encouraging a deep, trustful dependence. Sometimes in waiting upon the Lord, we give up control. Often when we're praying, we are trying to control outcomes, especially when fear is what's motivating our prayers. We're praying fear-based prayers, which only reinforces the fears in the center of our being. And what the psalmist is talking about is to be still, to wait upon the Lord in silence, to trust that God is still good. God will still deliver. God can still be trusted. So be still. Take time for silence in this season. And let your hearts come under the rest of God.